I'm going to keep my phone near me just in case she messages again. So have your settings, if you're not already, set on speaker view, and then it should make hopefully my screen the one that's biggest and easiest to see. I'll pop you on mute and then pop a little microphone in. What is happening this morning? Here we go. Microwave. There we go. Just give me a quick thumbs up to see that you can still hear me. Excellent. Perfect. All right. Microwave. That's going to tickle me all day. All right. Here we go. So the opposite way to which you would normally be sitting, cross-legged, easy seats. You can either have your hands, if your knees are particularly fussy, you can clasp your hands together and just rest your knees in the crook of your elbow. Or if the knees are able to relax a little bit more, have them nice and low, relaxing your hands on the top of the knees. Or if you prefer, you can just lightly hold the ankles too. So whichever combination of knee hold or knee rest works best for you. You can play with a few of them and see which fits best. And then we're going to pay attention to the parts of our body which are in connection with the ground. So as we sit, it's going to be the section around the glutes, the sit bones, sort of embedded fairly firmly. Ankles, maybe a little bit of the lower leg, maybe a little bit of the thigh, just depending on how you're sitting and which option you've chosen. So we'll observe the parts of us that are connected to the ground to begin with. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze if you prefer. Just check that lowering the gaze doesn't allow the chin to drop forward too much. And we'll do a quick scan through the front of the body. So we found our foundation, allowing ankles, knees and hips to relax as best as possible. Sitting tall but having a little bit of firmness through the middle. Maybe you draw the belly button in and up. Resisting the temptation to flare the lower ribs whilst you lift your collarbones. So think about sitting firmly through the middle but sitting tall at the same time. The crown of the head is the highest point, and at that you might lift your chin a little bit. And then working our way down the back of the body, lengthen the back of the neck. And the chin may level out a little bit as the back of the neck lengthens. Shoulders start to draw down, elbows become a little bit lower. Arms and wrists are relaxed and soft. We work our way all the way down back into our foundation. We're going to do a little stretch and mobilization, starting here in our seated position, then moving into tabletop. And then our main flow with some balance, strengthening and stretching exercises towards the end. So you can keep your eyes closed or lower the gaze a little longer. Release your hands from where they've got a hold. Stretch your fingertips wide. Take up space. Breathe in and then lift your fingertips up. Connecting your palms. Breathe out, slowly lower down. Bring the hands through the center of the chest. Release the connection, send them wide again. Take up space. Inhale, reach up. You can look up this time. Lifting the chin and the collarbone. And breathe out, lower down. Excellent. Let's take another reach and then we'll add a twist. So reach up high and wide, inhale. Take your right hand across your left knee as your left hand comes just behind the hips. And with a gentle grasp of the knee, you're going to rotate towards the left. Taking a gentle look across the shoulder if that feels good. Try not to pull the knee towards you, let the torso do the movement. And then release the shoulders back to center, take another breath up, reach. And then this time it's the left hand to the right knee as you exhale, lower down. Right hand just behind the hip. Gently take a rotation. Sit bones still level and grounded. Gently looking over the shoulder if that feels good. Excellent. Release your twist. Reach up again. Inhale. Grab a hold of your right wrist and take a gentle lean across the left side. Still aiming to stay tall, stay balanced. Breathe in, reach up, change wrists around, exhale and lean. Almost as if you're feeling the ribs lift and separate on the side that you're stretching. One more time, breathe in, reach up, opposite wrist, reach over. Maybe you're feeling a little braver to test and see if you can reach a bit further. And final time, reach up, breathe in, swap wrists, reach over. Good, adding that extra little lean if that feels good. Awesome. Inhale, stretch your hands up. Exhale, breathe out. lower them down. Fantastic. I'm going to take a little turn sideways. Cross your legs now the natural way, so unravel them, recross them. You might find the knees can relax a little bit more. Hands are going to rest lightly on the knees, and initially we're going to draw the palms back, elbows back, lift the chest, lift the belly button, pulling forward to bring an arch into the lower back. The chin can elevate ever so slightly. And then as you breathe out, let the lower back go, round, straighten your arms, lean back, use your hands on your knees to stop you toppling over. Good, let's go again, breathe in, reach up, lean forward, squeezing the elbows towards your body, arch in the back, and breathe out, lean back. If you let your shoulders round as well, you should get a nice stretch through your upper back. One more time, inhale, breathe in, reach up, and arch it back. Excellent. Well done. Draw yourself back up to central. And then either by rolling over your wrist, place your hands ahead of you, or swinging your legs lightly around to the side, we'll come into tabletop. So take a moment just to reset your knees and your hands so that they're underneath hips and shoulders. A little bit of firmness through the belly button, and then tuck your elbows so that you bring your bicep muscles forward. So if I show you from this side, if I let my elbows flare, my bicep muscles start to face inwards, but biceps forward should just help to draw the shoulders away from the ears and giving you that little external rotation of the arms within the shoulder socket. We're going to rock gently side to side, so feel the weight shift from left hand to right. The hips will move a little bit less, otherwise we'll end up toppling over. And then as you take that journey side to side, we're going to come underneath, so bending the elbows, scoop the belly low, and then push over the top, tuck your tailbone, draw the belly button in. So still looping left to right, but just adding a little bit of up and down movement. And when you've done 3 in this direction, we'll change it around and go the opposite way. So up and over, tucking the chin, scooping the belly low, coming underneath, lifting up and over. Good, and down. One more time for me, lift up and over, and ease it underneath. Good, well done. Reset your tabletop, show me those biceps, tuck them, bring them forwards. You're going to send one leg behind you, strong and straight onto the balls of the feet, take your balance, and then come straight with the other leg as well, into plank. Now I'd love you to push out through the shoulders, so we gain a little bit of extra height through the upper body. Tuck the tailbone, lift the hips a little bit higher as well. Strong abdominal muscles. Good. Then lift your hips up high, driving the ground away from you with your hands, and sink your heels low for downward facing dog. Starting with the tailbone, we're going to tuck the tailbone, draw the belly button in, lower ribs in, rolling forwards to that same plank position. We should already be nice and high through the shoulders, high through the hips. Good. And then lift the hips up, driving the ground away with your hands, sink the heels low. One more time, starting with the tailbone, tuck it. Lower ribs in, belly button in, tucking chin to chest, ripple forwards to your plank. Pause here, high through the shoulders, high through the hips, and then lift the hips even higher. Heels come low, pushing away with your arms. Good, well done. We're going to take a big step forward with our right leg now. So, or either one big step or lots of little steps. Aiming it between your hands, allowing you to find a position where your knee settles over your ankle. For a moment, we're going to look ahead of us, draw the body forwards, enjoying hip flexor stretch here on the left side, before lightly releasing the left knee to the mat and letting the toes go. Good. Walk your right hand on the inside of your foot as your foot shifts to the outside edge of your mat. Now you can roll onto the outside edge of the foot, let the knee go a little bit wider, and if that feels comfortable, consider maybe lowering your elbows down towards the mat. Only if it feels good, don't push it too far, just find your edge. Also imagine that there's a magnet here on the front of your left hip and it's drawing you forward and down towards the ground. Good. Deep breath into where you feel tension. So although this is a hip flexor stretch, chances are you'll be feeling it around the right hip as well. And then we'll gently walk ourselves up onto straight arms. Wriggle your right foot in so that you come back underneath your knee. Tuck your left toes, straighten your left leg. Notice how the whole body lifts. Stepping back for plank. Pushing back to downward facing dog just for a moment. And then we'll step our left leg forward, either with one big step, lots of little steps, or help it along with your hands if you need to. Same thing, we're aiming the knee to be over the ankle, looking forwards as we enjoy the hip flexor stretch, and then lightly letting the right knee go, releasing the toes. Hand on the inside of the foot, walk the foot a little wider. Same choice, you can roll onto the outside blade of the foot, let the knee go, and if that feels good, think about lowering down. Giving your hips that little bit of extra space. Straight arms is absolutely fine as well if that feels better for you. Long through the back of the neck. Breathing into where you feel tension, maybe around the front of the right hip or degreed around the left hip as well. Reaching up again, straight arms. Walk your left foot in. Place your left hand on the outside of the foot, tuck your toes and lift. So the body comes a little higher, giving you space to step back for your plank. High through the shoulders, high through the hips. Send the hips up and back and the heels down low. And we're going to pause in downward facing dog. Taking a bit of movement though, coming lightly onto one set of toes while you push the opposite heel down. So a little walk initially. And here's some more options. You can either keep this walk single legs, or if you want to add double legs, you can bend both knees. You'll feel yourself coming into a crouch before you lift and straighten the legs. So single or double legs is an option for you. Another option is to keep the legs straightish, but to allow a bit of movement from the hips. So rolling the hips side to side, you'll feel a stretch through one half of the body and a bit of strength work through the other. Just check that in rolling the hips, your feet don't wriggle away from you, so you may need to step the feet back in. Another option for you is as you look towards your feet, you take your right hand towards your left thigh. See if you can grab a hold. You're making like an A-frame shape. If you've managed to grab a hold, explore reaching down a little bit lower, right hand to the calf, maybe even to the ankle. And you'll notice how much more work your left arm has to do, and the shoulder stays firm, the body comes closer to your legs. If you've taken that option, remember to balance it out, change sides. So left hand to right thigh. If you can reach there, explore coming a little bit lower, sliding the hands down the leg, maybe even towards the ankles. Strong in the right arm, strong in the right shoulder, keep breathing. And then reset back into your downward facing dog. If you need a quick pause coming off the wrists, just to shake them off or grab a sip of water, now's a really good time to do it. Or you can hold your downward facing dog and explore bringing the biceps forward again. So if you lift your head, you'll notice you'll be able to rotate your arms to a degree. So biceps forward, elbow point down. All right, if you took a break, rejoin us, downward facing dog. We're going to start our flow. With the right leg first, keeping the hips square and the legs straight. Lift your right leg up and back in a long line behind you, aiming to draw the left heel down towards your mat. Then bend your right knee, bring it to your chest, look between your thumbs, and take a step forward. One big step, lots of little steps, or help it along. Good. Taking a moment to let the right knee find its position over the ankle. The body is long. We're going to breathe in and reach up to high lunge. Back leg stays straight. So hips and shoulders facing the front edge of the mat. Engage your left glute to help square the hips. Fingertips reach high, but the shoulders are relaxed. Now we're going to reach a little bit further as we breathe in. Straighten your right leg. So lift and rise. And then you're going to bend both legs and bring the elbows to 90 degrees by your side. So elbows bend, knees bend, dip it low. Good. Let's go again. Breathe in, reach. Fingertips lift. Elbows and knees bend. Exhale. Nice. And again, breathe in, lift. Modify the range if you need to. Exhale, lower down. All right, hold this bent position. Lean forward, look forward, rotate your palms down, and then reach to the floor. Straighten your back leg. Step back for plank. Awesome. Let the knees come down to the mat. Release your toes. Elbows tucked tight to your body as you look forward. Breathe out, lower it down. Pointing your toes, send your legs away from you. Curl yourself up off the mat. Keeping the elbows bent. You can stay a little bit lower using more of your back strength, lightly onto your fingertips, or using the strength of your arms and shoulders to lift and support your body up. Good, well done. Let's take a breath out, lower it down. Tuck your toes, we'll come through a tabletop. So as your arms straighten, your knees bent. And then as your knees straighten, your hips lift, heels back and down. Awesome, take another quick little walk, a little bit more movement in downward facing dog. And we'll do that same sequence on our left side. So wrap your arms, biceps forwards, left leg, straight through the leg, square through the hips, lift it behind you. Then the left knee to the chest, looking between your thumbs, take that step through. The left knee finds its positioning over your ankle, looking forward, long through the body, high on your right toes, breathe in and lift, up to high lunge. Squaring hips and shoulders, hands over your shoulders, shoulders over the hips, and then squeeze in firm through the middle. Taking an extra breath in, straighten your front leg, reach up. And on the out breath, bend both knees, bend both elbows, lower down. Good, and we go again. Inhale, lift. Lovely, exhale, lower. Awesome, let's go again. One more, breathe in, lift. Exhale, lower. Hold it here. Look forward, look down, rotate your palms down, and then reach your hands to the ground. Well done. Straighten your back leg, step back with the left. Knees down, release the toes. Tuck the elbows tight to your body. Breathe out and lower. Awesome, well done. Toes point, curl yourself up off the mat, either using the strength of your back or strength of the arms and shoulders. If the arms are coming a little straighter, watch out for dropping down between the shoulders. Tuck the elbows tight, lifting ears away from shoulders. Breathe out to lower, taking your time, curl yourself down. Tuck the toes, we'll go through that tabletop. Knees bent, arms straighten, hips lift, heels come low, well done. If you need a little break, pause it here. Ooh, I've got a spider on my elbow. Get up, there we are. Yeah, take a water break if you need it. Stay in downward facing dog, explore wrapping the biceps forward again, using your breath or shaking off the wrists. If you took a little break, rejoin downward facing dog. And we're going to add this section to our flow. So we're going to take out the drills in high lunge, straight leg, bent leg, and move straight into warrior two this time. So with the right leg first, lifting it up and back. Keep your right big toe close to your midline. Bend the knee and then lift the feet a little higher towards the ceiling. So resist the temptation to roll the hip out at this stage. We'll do that next. Knee close to your midline, toes lift. Keeping the knee bent, bring it to your chest and take a step through. Good, that's it. Find your balance, look ahead of you, breathe in and lift, fingertips rise up for high lunge. So for the time being, hips and shoulders square, squeezing in through the midline. Then we'll take a 90-degree turn to the left, left heel to your mat, release your arms long. Good, perfect. Shoulders draw back, little fingers come behind you ever so slightly, aiming shoulders over the hips, and a little bit of a press out of the right knee, not in a physical sense, in a using your right glute sense. We're looking over our right fingers to finish, still keeping the shoulders relaxed, using a depth that feels good for you. So the lower you come, the stronger it is for the leg. If you need to be a little kinder, rise up out of it a little bit. Good. We're going to reach forward over the right leg, lean, 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 lean. Rotate your shoulders over the knee and then bring your hands to the mat. Pivoting on the back toes, so your hips and shoulders are square to the ground. Lift up, step back for plank. And this time you've got the option to stay with straight legs or release the knees to the mat. But we're going to breathe out, lower down together. Hips and shoulders come to the ground at the same time. Soften the toes, curl up and lift. Breathe in. Good. And gently release it down. Beautiful. You can come through tabletop again or keep the legs straight as you lift up and out through plank or tabletop. And then lift the hips up and back, heels low. Well done. Same thing for our left side. So the left leg, we start straight, lifting it behind us, big toe close to the midline. Then bend the knee, lifting the foot a little higher if that feels comfortable. So resist the temptation for the knee to come wide. Keep it squeezed tight towards the middle. Left knee to chest. Looking between the thumbs, stepping through when you're ready. Long in the body, draw the shoulders back, hips lower. Good, breathe in and rise, high lunge. Finding that position again, the depth that works for you. Back leg straight or straight-ish. Right heel to the ground, Turning 90 degrees sideways on, releasing the arms lengthways. Almost as if you're trying to reach over both sets of toes, left and right. Chest is up, little fingers draw back, squeezing in through the middle. And again, that little push out through the left knee, using the glutes to bring your knee in line with your body. Relax through the arms. Look over your left hand. Push into the outside blade of your right foot as you extend the foot behind you. And then we're going to reach forward over the left leg. Reach, 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 reach. Rotate your shoulders over the knee. Cartwheel your hands down. Pivot on the back toes. Lift up, step back for plank. Knees or toes to journey down towards the mat. If you're on your toes, just take a little rock forwards. Then bend your elbows. Down we come. Release the toes, curl up as you breathe in. Legs engaged and extended. Good. And bring it down. Perfect. Tap the toes, plank or tabletop to make your way up and back into downward facing dog. Pausing here again with or without movement. Maybe taking a break for the wrists or a quick sip of water. We'll take 2 more big slow breaths. Good, well done. If you took a break, rejoin us for our final round. Right leg lifts again. Straight initially, and when your foot's found its highest point, generously bend the knee. Use your hamstring. Let the knee come wide and high this time, so you allow the roll out of the hips a little bit. Should give you a nice stretch through the hamstrings. But just check that your shoulders are still reasonably square, so try not to let your right shoulder lift and roll out. Draw it down towards your left toes. Right knee then in towards your chest. Stepping through. Allow the hips to lower. Breathe in and lift when you're ready. High lunge, fingertips rise. Keep squeezing the left glute for a moment longer. Keep the hips square. And then release, open up wide. Warrior 2. Good. Find the depth that works for your knee. Relaxing through the body. Squeeze through the middle. Excellent. All right, your right palm, face it upwards. So give a little rotation. Bend at the elbow and bring it just above the knee. So we're aiming to have ankle, knee, elbow and shoulder in a vertical line. Left arm reaches up and over, extending a diagonal line through the rest of the body. Awesome. Check that you're not dumping your weight into your shoulder, pushing into the elbow to lift you up a little firmer, and then stretching long through your left fingertips. Good, this is extended side angle. And for today, we've got 2 options. We can stay right here, checking out the integrity of the pose. You'll still be working plenty hard enough. But if you do want that extra level, hover your right arm off your knee just a little bit. Feel the extra work from the thigh, the hips, the midsection, but keep breathing. And imagine there's a wall behind you and you want both your shoulder blades pressed against the wall. And if you're taking the strengthening option, the extra layer is to extend your right arm too, in line with your body. But keep breathing. Oh yes. All right, take 1 more big breath wherever you are. If you had an elbow on the knee, or if it was elevated, bring it back to the knee just for a moment. Lengthen through the left side, and then rotate the shoulders down. Left hand down, right hand on the outside of the foot. Pivot on your back toes. Good, and then step back for plank. Knees or toes is your option to come down to the mat. Remember to rock forward if you're on the toes. Bend in the elbows, and perhaps you take a little pause halfway where your elbows meet your ribs. And from there, you can extend your legs, roll over the toes, lifting up, keeping the hips elevated for upward facing dog. Or if you prefer, let the hips and knees come down to the mat. From upward facing dog, you can lift your hips straight into a pike, or you can bring the whole body down, exhale, lay on the mat, and then come through plank or tabletop, your choice. Good. Finding your way back to downward facing dog, taking a quick breath. And then we'll do the same with our left side. Left leg extends behind you, long line. When your foot's reached its highest point, bend the knee. Use your left hamstring to draw the heel to your hip. Anchor the right ankle, and then draw your left shoulder down towards your right toes. Left knee lifts, it can come wide. Enjoying that lovely stretch through the right hamstring. Left knee to the chest as you roll to plank. Taking your step through when you're ready. Allowing the hips to sink down as you look ahead of you, and then breathe in, reach, fingertips up, high lunge. Good, well done, nice. Back heel down, take the rotation, spread your wings, arms wide. Sink a little lower if that feels good. Think about squeezing in again through the midline, little tuck through the tailbone. Left palm, rotate it up. Bring the elbow just above the knee. So we've got that vertical line, ankle, knee, elbow and shoulder. And the right arm reaches up and over again, long diagonal line. Same thing, check that you're not resting the weight into the left shoulder, pushing the elbow into the knee, getting a little bit of extra lift, creating space between your ear and your shoulder, extending a long, strong right arm. Check also if you wish to stay here, working on your foundations, playing with the depth of the knee bend, aiming to have both shoulders leaning back against the imaginary wall, or adding an extra layer for strength in hovering the left arm off the knee. Stronger through the leg, the hip, and the body, keep breathing. Or if you want even more, extending the left arm. Deep breaths. Keep inhaling and exhaling. We're here for 3 and 2. If you lifted your left arm, bring it back to the knee for a moment. Reset your position. Then rotate down. Right hand to the mat. Left hand to the other side of the foot. Pivot on the back toes. Lift up, step back, plank. Good. Knees or toes, journey down. Pausing halfway is an option for you. And then roll the toes, lifting up, upward facing dog, or come to ground for cobra or baby cobra. When you're ready, journey back to downward facing dog, either by releasing to the mat and lifting up through tabletop or plank, or pike, and then let the heels sink low. Good, well done. Let's pause here together for 3 breaths. You can either hold your positioning perfectly still, aiming to work on your foundations, or take a little bit of movement and inhale to lift hips and heels, and exhale to release back and down. 2 more breaths. Either pause or take movement, and release. Last one. See if you can let the chest come a little bit lower, the heels a little bit lower. Long arms ahead of you. Good, well done. Now bend your knees, release them down to the mat. Soften the toes, send your hips back. Come off your arms and drop your chest down towards the mat. Well done. Taking a few breaths here. If you want a little bit of movement for your wrists, reach your hands ahead of you. Come up onto the pads of the fingers. So you're lifting your hands and elbows off the mat. And then continue your reach, but place the heel of the hand on the mat, lifting your fingertips up. So you're just playing with the movement, extending and flexing the wrists while the body relaxes. Good, well done. If you haven't already done so today, have a sip of water. Sit yourself back, you can shake off the wrists a little further. And then we'll prepare ourselves to make our way up to standing. Coming through a section of forward folds to get there. So when you're ready, hands underneath your shoulders. You're just going to lift up off your feet, walk your feet towards your hands, and pause so that you've got hip distance gap between your feet, or a little bit narrower if you need to. Aim to release as much tension through the upper body. So head, neck, shoulders, arms, all hang nice and loose. Let go of as much tension as you can. If the fingertips don't touch the floor, you can just hover them lightly on the lower leg, or angle them towards the ground. Nod the head, swing the shoulders, release all that tension, look between the knees when you're ready. Forward fold. A little bit of tension through the front of the thigh, maybe you keep a bend through your knees, whilst you enjoy the stretch through the back of the legs into your hamstrings. Awesome, well done. Next time you breathe in, we're going to bring ourselves into a flat back position. So shoulders aiming roughly in line with the hips. So inhale, lift, flatten the back. Loop the shoulders back, tuck your elbows in towards your body, and lightly rest your hands on your shins. Sending the tailbone behind you, wrap your lower ribs in, extending the back of the neck, so you might just need a little tuck through the chin, but imagine you're drawing those shoulders down. Good, well done. So a little bit stronger, still a hamstring stretch, but a bit more muscle engagement through the midsection. Breathe out to release to your forward fold again. Maybe the second time it's a little bit easier, a little bit comfortable. Hamstrings will be tight in the morning anyway though. And then we're going to breathe in one more time, flat back position, lift and lengthen the body, extend the back of the neck, tuck your elbows in as you loop your shoulders back. Holding for a moment, and then breathe out, let it go. Alright, I want you to take a much more generous bend in the knee so that your torso literally rests on your thighs. And then you can either wrap the hands around the back of the knees, or the forearms to your ankles, or holding on to the lower leg. All right, so find a position that feels good. And I want you to aim to have as much connection, body to thighs, as possible. The head still hangs nice and loose. And then either using the arms to squeeze, or just imagining you've got magnets on your body and your thighs. I want you to try and delicately straighten your legs, but don't lose the connection. Keep the body on the thighs as best you can. So even if it's just a micro straightening of the legs, keep it low, keep squeezing, give yourself a big hug. And then slowly, again, body staying as close to the legs as possible. Release the hold that you have and roll yourself up to standing. So you're looking all the way between the knees, between the thighs, in towards the navel. Chin stays tucked. Slowly the knees rest above the ankles, the hips above the knees, the shoulders above the hips, and the head above the shoulders. Relax your shoulders down, palms forward, little fingers in towards your thighs. Again, extending the back of the neck, drawing the fingers long down your thighs, squeezing front to back, maybe a little tuck through the tailbone, and then drawing left to right as well. A little bit of softness in the knees, anchor down through your feet. You should feel really strong and stable here. Excellent, okay. We're going to take our balance pose in Warrior 3. So for a moment, lift your toes, spread them wide, and then reground them, taking up as much space as you can. We're going to take a little step back with the left leg, keeping the weight over your right foot. Okay, hands can stay here by your thighs or on your hips if you prefer, or if you want a bit more challenge, bring them to the center of the chest. So you find a hand position that works for you. Keep a little softness in your right knee so that you can absorb a change in balance. We're going to look forward, lean forward, and explore lifting our left toes up off the mat. So it might be really small to begin with, toe tapping down just as you find your balance. And when you get a little bit braver, a little bit more confident, leaning your way forward to see if you can reach a horizontal position with your body. Good. Again, extending the back of the neck like we did in our flat back position from forward fold. Wrap the left hip down. It may lower the foot a little bit, but it'll work the glute a little more. You can point the back foot or flex it, whichever works for you. Explore your hand positions. You can either keep them by your side, on your hips, or bring them to the center of the chest. Keep breathing, you've got this. Working on focus and concentration and strength in your standing leg. Bend the right leg, let the body lower down to the point where you can reach your fingertips to the mat. Once your fingertips have found the ground, you're going to re-straighten your right leg, look towards your right knee and lift your left leg as high as you comfortably can. This time allowing the hips to open to benefit a little bit more from the stretch. If balance is with you, you may choose to wrap one hand around your right leg, assisting you to draw your body closer towards the leg. Keep breathing. And then gently bend both knees. Bring your left foot to the mat. And you can have a little walk out here or a little rebound. Bend and extend both legs. Just give them a little shake out, whatever they need. When you're ready, we'll roll ourselves back up to standing, taking your time, finding your upright position. Standing tall when you get there, find mountain pose again. Squeezing left to right, front to back, and lifting out of your foundations. Good. So this time, if you want to lift and spread your toes again, you can do that. We're going to take a little step back with the right leg. So the weight is over the left leg this time. Start with a hip square. Decide whether your hands are staying by your thighs or on your hips or in the center of the chest. We'll start to lean forward, look forward. Keep a bit of softness in your left knee. Hovering the right toes up. Finding your balance. And if and when you're ready, take a longer lean forward, extending your right leg behind you, looking for that horizontal positioning. Wrapping down with the right hip, using the glutes a little bit more. Toe tapping down whenever you need to. Take your time, keep breathing. Exploring the difference in hand positions if that's comfortable for you today. Long body. Good, lots of control. And then we're going to bend the left knee, let the body come a little bit lower, slowly, slowly, slowly. Let your hands find the mat. Let your body release down, look towards your left knee. Extend the left leg again, lift the right foot high wide as you can. Let the hips open out. Same option here if balance is with you. Take the left hand around the back of the left leg. Use it to draw you a little bit closer, deepening the stretch. Keep breathing, keep breathing. And then gently release both knees. Right foot comes down. Take a little walk or a little rebound, bend and extend. Good. Now if you're taking this little rebound option, we're going to do something similar for a shoulder and core strengthening exercise next. So we're going to release our shins onto the mat. It's a good time to grab a quick sip of water if you need it. Give the wrists a little shake off. Lifting the chest up as we prepare for pendant pose or a variation of. So it looks a little bit like this. You're going to send your hands just wider than shoulder distance apart, so you give your knees a little bit of space, but they're not going to be too far from the knees. And with the toes released, you're going to push onto the tops of the feet and lift the hips up. And we're going to move in and out of this pose repeatedly. You're going to drive the ground away, so you'll be strong in your shoulders rather than sinking through the shoulder joint. You'll notice your midsection muscles work and your thighs as well. So it's a really nice multi-muscle position, this one. So when you're ready, fingertips spread wide to help with balance, a little wider than the shoulders but close to the knees. Arms straight but not locked. Let's draw the biceps forward. When you're ready, you're going to push onto the tops of the feet, lift the hips, straighten the legs a little bit, and then gently come down nice and soft. And we're going to keep moving in and out of this. Lift and lower. Good. Think about creating space between shoulders and ears, so actively lifting out of the shoulders, driving the ground away, strong straight arms. If it's a smaller movement for you, that's absolutely fine. If you want to come all the way onto straight legs, you can do that too. It's a bit more stretch for the feet though, so check in, be kind, see what feels good. You'll notice the strength in your core, strengthen the upper body, strengthen the legs. Good, well done. It's a nice journey to handstand as well, this one. We won't do that today, don't worry. Looking towards the feet, looking towards the shins as you tuck your chin and lower down. Let's take 2 more. Remember, you can vary the range if you need to. My legs are starting to get tired, I don't know about yours. Lift and release. Good, well done. Whew. Sit back, shake off your wrists. You can take a little rotation, left and right. Flick them, loosen them off, or even press lightly. Swap round and press again. Well done. All right, last few exercises for us. You're going to sweep your legs forward. So you sit on your bum, up with bent knees, find your foundation, sit nice and tall. So for boat pose, we'll take a twist this week, working a little bit more on the core and the obliques as well. To get there, slide your fingertips lightly behind your knees, take a lean back, sit tall as you lift your heels, and then journey your shins parallel with your mat. Okay, so your options are that you can stay right here, ignore the twist, just hold this position. If you want a baby twist, keep your right hand behind your right knee, and then just open up and look to the left. So a small rotation, extending your left arm about 45 degrees. If you want a bigger rotation, from your central position, lift your right elbow up to the outside of your left knee, and then open both arms up. A little stronger. You haven't got that anchor point, a little bit more rotation. So play, you've got 3 options to work through. Try each one maybe, see which suits you best today. Still sitting tall, lifting, breathing. Good, well done. Come back to center, grab a hold of the knees, release the toes, roll the shoulders over the knees, give yourself a quick squeeze. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So refound your position. Sit tall, collarbone lifted, hands behind the knees. Lift the shins up when you're ready. And again, you can stay here. This is absolutely fine. For the baby twist, keep the left hand behind the left knee. Look towards the right. Open your right arm out towards the side. So the left elbow stays bent. Or if you're taking the bigger twist, from your central position, left elbow reaches up and over to the outside of the right knee. And then both arms open out. Bigger twist. Knees glued together. Just check that they're not drifting. Sit tall. Keep breathing. One more breath. And then face the front. Grab a hold of the knees, bring the feet down, shoulders over wrists, shoulders over knees, squeeze. All right, rolling yourself down now, gently, gently, onto your back. Leave a little bit of room behind you. You can use the hands on the knees to gently guide you down. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Uncurl the body. Bring the heels, walk them up nice and close to the hips. Then place your palms down alongside your hips. So we're going to work through bridge. Initially, draw the belly button in to firm your lower back against the mat. So you should feel lower back pressing against the ground. Feet should be hip distance apart and toes facing the front of the mat if that's comfortable. With a tuck of the tailbone, lower back presses in a little firmer, but the hips may lift. And then start to lift hips and lower back. You'll feel your glutes, the back of the hips engage. Lifting a little higher, hamstrings start to work as well. Pushing into the heels, lifting a little higher. You'll come to rest, if it's comfortable, across the top of the shoulders. Give the shoulders a little wriggle if you need to. So you should have your arms, upper arms, elbows and lower arms on the mat too, as you lift up, aiming to get your hips the highest point. Lastly, tuck the tailbone again, feeling as if you're squeezing the front of the ribs and the front of the hips a little bit closer together. And that just resists the temptation to lift out from the chest, keeping the lift through the hips. Uses the core muscles a little bit more as well and keeps the glutes active. The chin lifts to make space for your neck, still breathing. Check that the knees haven't drifted. And then we're gently going to roll ourselves down to the mat. Work from the upper back, down through the ribs, mid-back, lower back, and lastly the hips. Once the hips have released and you feel the muscles let go around the torso, windscreen wipe the knees lightly side to side, just to free off and bring a bit of movement. We'll take another round of bridge, adding in the options to interlace your fingers. So where your arms are behind your hips, you're going to grab a hold of the knuckles and draw the knuckles down towards your heels. It'll give you a little bit more lift through the chest, but just check that it's not too tight for the shoulders. Otherwise, keep the arms by your sides. So let's start again. Draw the belly button in, lower back against the mat, tuck the tailbone, and start to lift hips, lower back, mid-back, rise up through the ribs, and come to rest through the tops of the shoulders. Wriggle the arms if you need to, find your foundation, knees squeezing together, tucking the tailbone at the top. And the option then to interlace the fingers, give the shoulders another little wriggle to bring the elbows closer, pushing into the tops of the arms, drawing the knuckles towards the heels, and keeping the chin lifted. Good. Check in with the tailbone again, maybe it needs another little tuck, drawing the lower ribs, front of the ribs and front of the hips forward. Good, still breathing, still breathing. Gently release the arms, walk the shoulders out, and roll down, upper back, through the ribs, mid-back, lower back, and hips. When you feel the muscles relax, take that little bit of movement side to side through the knees. Excellent, well done. Keeping the movement through the knees, you're gradually going to wriggle your toes, clawing them towards the long edge of your mat, so your legs gradually start to straighten out. You can keep moving. Wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. Legs get longer. Now if you need a sip of water, if you want to put on an extra layer, if you're starting to get a little chilly, any fidgets or adjustments to clothing that you need, we'll find our Shavasana, our final relaxation. Maybe another wriggle through the hips and shoulders, giving them enough space to feel comfortable. Palms this time face up alongside your hips, long arms. Maybe a final wriggle through the legs before you let the feet fall out. And then try and let everything go, relaxing and melting into your mat. So feel the heaviness of the joints, the release of tension from the muscles. They don't have to do any more work now. Lightness of the surface of the air as I leave you with this little reading. You can close the eyes, lower your gaze, or pop a towel or a sleeve over the top half of your face. So this is to remind you of the highs and the lows of life. Life is amazing, and then it's awful, and then it's amazing again. And in between the amazing and awful, it's ordinary and mundane and routine. Breathe in the amazing, hold on through the awful, and relax and exhale during the ordinary, because that's just living. heartbreaking, soul healing, amazing, awful, ordinary life, but it's breathtakingly beautiful. So know that not every day is a good day. Not every day is a bad day. The highs, the lows, and the ordinary in between. But life is incredible. And every day that you can spend being thankful and grateful and humble will be a good day. And the next time you breathe in, make it the biggest breath you've taken all day. Maybe not so much of a challenge, seeing as it's still early in the morning, but really imagine that you're filling up every corner of your lungs all the way into your body. And on the breath out, take your time, savor the moment, breathe out slow and steady. Another big breath in, fill your body up. And then gently let it go. When you're ready, bring a bit of movement into your fingers and toes so you can either squeeze them into a little ball or stretch them out wide. And then replicate that movement through your main body, either by bringing the knees to the chest, giving yourself another squeeze, or maybe you take up space and stretch out through the fingers and the toes. And lastly, when you're ready, maybe you choose to roll onto your side and pause there for a moment, or you rock yourself back up to sitting. Don't give it too much thought, cross the legs, whichever comes first. We're not going to be here for terribly long. Finding a position for your arms, either supporting the knees, resting on the knees, or lightly across the ankles. We're going to sit tall again, lift and lengthen through the front of the body, ground down and anchor through the back. And then let's take one more breath in together as a group, reaching the hands high and wide as we go. Connecting the palms, exhale, lower down, pause in the center of the chest. I'm going to take a lean forward as ever so that I can express my gratitude for your company and your efforts this morning. Give yourself a big thank you as well. You've been amazing. And I hope this has set you up really nicely for a wonderful Wednesday. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Let me come over here so I can see your faces. If you need to shoot off, just give me a quick wave. Let me know that you are all right. If you want to hang on for any questions, that's awesome too. I will stick around. You may need to unmute your cameras or your things to have a chat with me if you need to. There we go. Cool, lovely. Thank you so much. Well done. Have a great day. Enjoy your Wednesday. See you later. Thanks, Connor. Cheers, Fran. Well done, Sam.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon.